guess we'll get started here with a two-part video tonight. We'll go Ohio State, Michigan State, do a quick little preview, and then kind of give some thoughts on the rankings, what the official rankings are, maybe what I think. Not what I think matters, does it? Kind of matters, though. I mean, hey, look, man, the fan perspective's crucial. YouTube guys, they count. I think the committee might even check YouTube, be like, well, let's see what the fans think. So that's a horrible committee if that were the case. So anyhow, Michigan State, of course, they, nothing like a Rutgers game to get your offense back on track. Michigan State waxes Rutgers last week, 49-0. Obviously been a struggle for them this season. 3 wins, one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. Just doesn't make any sense. It just seems like every year, they were just, I guess, at a certain point, you just can't keep continuing to have, first round, second round defensive linemen every year, cornerbacks that are going first round, second round, linebackers that can make plays. It seems like their defense has carried them. Yeah, they've had some players on the offensive side of the ball also do some things, but basically their defense has carried them, so I got to believe the defense is just down a little bit this year. Imagine, every team's got some injuries, probably hit a little harder by injuries. Maybe the recruiting cycle took a hit the year D'Antonio had some health issues. I guess this would have been about the cycle, get 2-3 years down the road. Maybe a little gap missing. So anyhow, the Buckeyes, obviously, the last couple of weeks, they've gotten their offense rolling. Getting Samuel, JT, Weber, still looking, Magna Ball at tight end, starting to make some plays, but, they're still looking for another wide receiver to do something. KJ Hill, maybe, Austin Mack got in there a little bit last week. DeMario McCall, a guy, perhaps the extra playmaker will come once again from the backfield. Dontre Wilson getting to that point in the year where, man, the guy's just beat up with injuries. He was replaced last week on punt returns. He did get a touchdown in there receiving, though, but it almost seems like McCall's getting those Dontre Wilson touches at this point. So, it's a game that scares me, obviously. I'm favoring the Buckeyes. I'm picking the Buckeyes to win, but, over the last 5, 6, 7 years, more so than me, the last decade, Michigan State has really been the rival. Wisconsin will pick up a win every 5 or 6 years, but Michigan, that's still the game, but they need to mix in some W's like the Spartans have. So this is the one game on the schedule that's going to concern me. You start to see how the year was going for Michigan State. At the beginning of the season, probably would have picked this one as a loss coming into the year when everybody was 0-0. But now that we're here, I think the Buckeyes can pull it out. I'm thinking maybe 34-20, something along them lines. I know I pick a similar score every week, but I'm not going to pick 62-3. I don't think they can go 62-3 on Michigan State anyhow, but so that wraps that up. Then on to the playoffs. Now, the official rankings, Bama, Ohio State at 2. That's real nice, Ohio State coming in at 2. If they'd have been 3 or 4, that at-large bid, I'm already nervous about the possible at-large bid scenario. Michigan at 3, Clemson at 4. Now, that's, it's hard, obviously, if you're a Clemson fan. You're like, yeah, obviously we're in over Louisville. We beat Louisville, but I don't know. If I was just strictly picking the 4 best teams right now, I think they got Bama right at number 1, obviously. We got a clear-cut number 1. Ohio State and Michigan, you can almost put them 2, 2A, 2B. Flip-flop them, put Michigan at 2, Ohio State at 3. We're going to find out here real soon. The game will be at Ohio State, though. That's what I'm talking about here with Clemson and Louisville. Louisville almost won that game. Louisville had a great chance to win that game. I don't know what old dude was thinking there on 4th down, stepping out of bounds. Who knows if he could have picked up the first down? Who knows if they'd have scored? But the game was at Clemson. Louisville took them all the way to the gate. We saw just last week Clemson finally, walking the tightrope with all these close games. They finally go down. Picked a good week to go down, though, with everybody else, it seemed like, in the top 10 losing. So, I don't know. What I was going to say, if it was ending right now, I'd probably go Bama, Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan, Ohio State. That could be decided here real soon. But then Clemson, Louisville. Clemson's, it's hard to say, but I feel like neutral field. Can we do that? How about neutral field? Neutral field, they play again. I got Louisville. I think they got Clemson's number there. They're going to go and play at Clemson again. I'm probably going to pick Clemson. But if I'm just going in, maybe I'm giving them a little bit of the Louisville's quarterback, maybe getting a little bit of the deal. What the fuck, guys? I just keep on to say Jabari Parker. All of a sudden, I'm thinking of a former Duke small forward. So anyhow, Lamar Jackson, he ends up. Maybe I'm giving them a little bit of a push because I do like to watch. I like to watch Deshaun Watson play as well, though. So then I think 6, 7, and 8, they got that right. But we'll have to see how it plays out. With the Wisconsin and Penn State, hypothetically, they play in the Big Ten title game, assuming Ohio State wins out. Let's just hope Ohio State wins out. And so do Wisconsin, Penn State. So Ohio State doesn't go to the Big Ten title game. They're probably still in. Bama, I feel like even if Bama loses a game at this point, they're still going to stay in the top 4. I don't know. Yeah, it's too. Who knows? Who knows how it's going to work out? It may end up being these 4 teams right here when it's all said and done. But I don't know, man. They got to put the winner of that Wisconsin Penn State in, don't they? I mean, you get 2 Big Ten teams. Could be Ohio State and Wisconsin, or Ohio State and Penn State. Ooh, I'd love a rematch with Penn State in the playoffs somehow. But they'd probably put Bama 1, Penn State 4. Wonder who'd win that one. I mean, no, Penn State beat Ohio State. I don't mean to disrespect Penn State, but, when I start putting these matchups, like who could beat who, Ohio State, Bama, I'm favoring Bama over everybody. I'm favoring Ohio State over everybody except Bama, and maybe it's a pick 'em with Michigan. But I'm picking Ohio State over Clemson, Louisville, Washington, Wisconsin, Penn State, all on neutral fields. No whiteouts included. Then you get to Wisconsin, Penn State on a neutral field. I don't know, probably Penn State, but I don't know. Washington, I think all them teams could beat Washington. Maybe East Coast bias here, Midwest bias, hating on the West Coast teams. So as you see, we got a mess here, but it does feel like there's about these 8 teams. I know some people would just argue, well, let's just make it 8 teams, man, an 8-team playoff and we're settled. I don't know, easier said than done. I like 4 teams. I think 4 teams is perfect. And, yeah, so that's it. Did I give you my official top? I think my official top 4, Bama, Ohio State, Michigan, Louisville. Sorry, Clemson. I don't know. But that could change. Clemson wins out. They win the ACC title game. It's going to be tough to keep them out. Oh, yeah, Penn State, Wisconsin. That could be an interesting one. Wisconsin could possibly sneak back in there. Badges. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. FZappa 20. These are the playoffs, and that was the preview.